guys, what's up? It's me, the Subway Nerd. Sorry for no videos. It was just I was pretty busy. But we have a video this week and a video next week, so be on the lookout for that. This week's or today's, we are covering the Chicago L, or the Chicago Transit Authority, but I'm just going to call it the Chicago L because it sounds better. And then next week, we are going to dive deep into the secrets of the world's most isolated country's metro. That's right, we are doing a full video on North Korea's subway. I already did a YouTube short on it, but I thought, heck, screw it. There's only 2 lines. It won't take that long to do a full video on it. So that's going to be really fun. And also, I just got community posts enabled on this channel not too long ago. So make sure to go check those out. I'll be putting out like polls and just some general news there. So yeah, thanks so much, guys. Anyways, it is time to start reviewing the Chicago L. And you can see I love this. Even on the official map, it still calls it the L, which is so cool. And we are just going to go in rainbow order because why not? And we are going to start with the red line. So the Chicago L, how it works, before I get into the red line, it's a little bit weird. So you have these outer lines, sort of. You have the outer lines that go into the suburbs, but they all connect into the loop in downtown, which is just a bunch of stations in like a big loop, and then what happens is they come back out into the suburbs. So like it looks like, I know it looks like there's like 2 blue lines and 2 green lines on this, but really it's one line. It's just that it connects through the loop, as you can see there. But yeah, so anyways, starting off with the red line. The red line runs up and down the coast of Lake Michigan. And yeah, it goes straight through the loop, but not in like the big section, the big jumbled up section of the loop. It just, I don't know why I said moop. The loop, it goes sort of through the middle of it. And then comes back out the other side. So it goes from Howard all the way down to 95th/Dan Ryan. And there's not much to say about the red line, but just going into a little bit of detail on it, in the loop, it stops at Jackson, Monroe, and Lake, it looks like. Because I don't think it stops at Washington. I think that writing just goes through the line. But there are a lot of walking transfers to the blue line and even to other lines in the loop there. So yeah, now moving right along in rainbow order, we go to the orange line. So the orange line is a little bit different because you can see it doesn't come back in and out. What it does is it actually reconnects with itself, which is super cool. And you can see there in the loop detail, it comes up, it goes all the way around, and then it just reconnects with itself. So that's pretty cool. But anyways, the orange line goes from Midway to, I guess, Midway again. Like, it's a little confusing. But I guess we'll say it goes to from Midway to Adams/Wabash. And then it just loops with itself. So next we have the yellow line, which I don't really, I'm a little bit confused with the yellow line, like how it works, just because it's only 2 stations. But anyways, it goes from Howard, where that's where it starts. You can only get to it from the purple and red line. And I believe it is the only line in the entire metro system that does not go to the loop. Yes, it is. But yeah, it just goes from Howard to Dempster-Skokie. And the only other stop on it is Oakton-Skokie. I think it might be expanded, probably. So yeah, next is green, and green is a little bit more complicated because it does go through that loop and then come out the other side. It goes But yeah, so green goes from Harlem/Lake through the loop. And then at Garfield, you can, basically what you can do is it splits at Garfield. And then from there, you can either end at Ashland/63rd or Cottage Grove. And a little bit of detail on it in the loop. Its first stop in the loop is Clark/Lake. Then it goes to State/Lake, Washington/Wabash, and then Adams/Wabash. And then it heads back on out to Roosevelt, where the red, green, and orange lines sort of break up after the lake. So then after green, we of course have blue. And blue looks like it has the most stops. I'm obviously not counting, but it looks like the longest line. And it goes from O'Hare to Forest Park. And this is one of the big ones in the loop, because it's sort of like, this is one of the big ones that's like really like comes back out again. It like goes all the way down to the loop and then straight line like all the way out. But yeah, in the loop, it stops basically at the same places as red. It stops at Washington, Monroe, and Jackson. And then I guess LaSalle, if you count that as part of the loop on here. So yeah, and then after blue, we have purple. And then purple is a little bit different because, as you can see, the dotted lines there only run during the rush period, so like rush hour, I guess. So it's a little bit confusing, but basically the purple line is the line that you take like if you need to like get home from work. It really gets you into the loop. And then there's only a few stops that are available like all the time, and those stops are Linden, Central, Noyes, Foster, and so on until Howard. And then at Howard, it becomes a rush-only period, and it doesn't stop. It only stops at like bigger stops. But then, yeah, in the loop, again at the rush-only period, it stops at Merchandise Mart, Clark/Lake, State/Lake, Washington/Wabash, Adams/Wabash, Harold Washington Library, Quincy, Washington/Wells, and then it connects back up with itself again and just heads back out. And then the final line is the brown line. Brown line is a smaller line. It goes from Kimball through the loop, and then I believe it reconnects with itself, is what it looks like from here. But yeah, again, pretty much stops at the same stops as Washington, as like purple and orange. And I know I said brown was the last line, but I completely forgot about pink. And pink is pretty much the same as brown and purple and like orange and everything. Pink goes from 54th/Cermak in through the loop, and then reconnects back up with itself and basically stops at all the same stops. So yeah, now let's just look at the loop a little bit, and I will sort of explain how it works in case you're going to Chicago and need to know. And you're riding the subway and you need to know how it works. So first of all, it works like any other subway map or metro map or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, it has, the stations and the lines on it. Basically, those little black lines with like the white little lines in between them, those are just walking transfers. Like you can transfer to a station by walking. And then basically the one thing you need to know, and I think the reason people are so confused by the loop is because, a lot of the lines reconnect back up with themselves. So the thing you need to know is the way you know which way it's going is there are arrows on the line. So you can see at this one, in between Clark/Lake and State/Lake, the purple, orange, and pink lines are all going up, are all going one way, and then the brown line is going the other way. So that's the one thing that really helps. And the reason the green line doesn't have one is because the green line doesn't reconnect back up with itself, so it has to be going one way. But yeah, I think that's pretty much breaking down the loop for you. So yeah, I think that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you next week for the Pyongyang Metro video. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye!